Welcome to Colonel Football Weekly, as we take an inside look at Nicholls State University football. Today's program is presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional, the official sports medicine provider of Nicholls Athletics. Colonel Football Weekly is also sponsored by Rouse's Supermarkets. You're either local or you're not. And People's Health, your Medicare health team. Hello and welcome to Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center at Thibodaux Regional. I'm Mike Wagenheim, alongside the interim head coach of the Colonel Football program, Steve Axman. Coach, how are you this week?
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there. I think that's the operative term right now. You know, the Colonels looked sharp for three quarters a couple of weeks ago against Stephen F. Austin. Ran out of steam in the end. Had some high hopes going into a matchup with Lamar at home this past Saturday. Never really got going in the contest. What do you attribute that to?
That's a good question because, I'm very disappointed in the fact that we've made a lot of progress. The Stephen F. game, I thought Stephen F. was an excellent football team, and we take that into the third quarter, and we're still hanging in there with a chance to make it competitive. And then we come out this weekend and against Lamar, and we just seem to be a different team. And I'm really having a tough time putting my finger on that, but other than some great special teams play, our offenses and defenses didn't play. They didn't play very well. We didn't play very hard, and we didn't play very efficiently, and that's not a good combination.
I think the question going forward then is, what did the team take away from that, and how have they looked in practice so far this week?
Well, I think the big thing is that our players, we all need to do some soul searching, and when I say we, that's me, that's our staff, and that's our players, because, we're all in this together, and, the ultimate responsibility falls upon me to get these guys motivated to play and play well. But again, I have a lot of confidence in these kids, and it's just, that's why it's so disappointing for me to, see them not play as they're capable of playing.
And it'd be one thing if that was their level of play, and you come to expect that. We know the Colonels are capable of playing better than that. So what's it going to take to get it going again?
Well, we've got to make up our minds that this is important enough for us to make sure that we're giving it our all individually, as an offense, as a defense, as a kicking game, as a team, as coaches, everyone, and making sure we're getting back on track and going forward next week.
Still got 4 games left to prove yourselves here before we take a look forward. Though, as always, we'll take a look back. Back out to John L. Guidry Stadium this past Saturday. The Colonels with an 0-2 start at home for the first time in 19 years. With 10 freshmen on the 2-deep chart and an ever-thinning offensive line, the Red and Gray were looking to hand Lamar their first loss head-to-head since the Cardinals rejoined the Southland in 2011. Both clubs battled their opponents tightly throughout 3 quarters the week before, got overwhelmed in the final 15 minutes. Lamar didn't waste any time in this one, though. They take the opening kick and march 71 yards in just 4 plays on a day when quarterback Caleb Berry would break Lamar's career records for completions and total offense. He hits Mark Roberts for the 59-yard score. Roberts, a big play receiver, leading the Southland in yards per catch. Nicholls looking to answer. 7 days earlier, they had a pair of 100-yard rushes for the first time since their last meeting with Lamar. Tobias Lofton would not be taken down on his first touch of the afternoon. Finally gets run out of bounds. The Colonels, though, would have to punt after driving into Lamar territory. Cardinals ran wild in this one. Carl Harris takes the pitch on 3rd and short, and he's off to the races. Josh Dewey tracks him down after a 44-yard gain. It would be Lamar with a pair of 100-yard rushers in this one. The defense comes up with a stop, though. Berry fires into the end zone, and he is picked off by All-Southland defensive back Byron Cobb, his first interception of the year. It remains 7-0 with 6 minutes to go in the first. The secondary, mixed bag in this one. Nicholls went 3 and out on their next drive, and after a 30-yard hookup by Berry and Roberts, it's Cade Harrington getting to the outside and scoring from the 19. Harrington put up big numbers, rushing for 123 yards and 4 scores on 18 carries. He also had 3 receptions. Let's go to the start of the second quarter. Harrington would pick up right where he left off. Same play, the option pitch, this time on 4th and 1 from midfield. Harrington converts for 19 yards again. A personal foul on the play advanced the ball into the red zone. So that would set up Lamar coming up here on a 2nd and goal from the 4. Berry with a quick strike to Reggie Beggleton, who's closing in on Lamar's career receptions record. Cards up 21-0. Berry goes 27 of 32 for 330 yards and 2 scores. As Coach Axman mentioned, Nichols just couldn't generate offense in the first half. Harrington scored on 3rd and goal from the 8 to make it 28-0. The ball goes back to Lamar. It's Berry finding Jace Nelson this time for 21 yards down to the Nichols 10. That sets up Harrington again. The score from the 4, and Lamar blows this one open early, taking a 35-0 lead with still almost 10 minutes left in the first half, and they were relentless. Here it's Berry to Roberts for 22 yards. Roberts hauled in 7 passes for 148 yards. Groff and Gladney later took it on an end around for a 42-0 score after a touchdown. The Cardinals were going for another blow late in the half, but Berry is picked off by Josh Singleton. First career INT for the sophomore out of Morgan City, Louisiana. He returns it 18 yards to the Nichols 40, and the Colonels will get a chance to put some points on the board before the break. The drive begins with a 32-yard pass coming up here from Kalen Henderson to Michael Henry, down to the Lamar 28. It's the only catch of the day for Henry. He rushed for 51 yards as well, but would leave the game just after halftime, dealing with some cramping on a very hot day. But that play gets Nichols into scoring position, and 3 plays later, Henderson would find Xavier Marcus in the back of the end zone, a 21-yard hookup, and Nichols goes in with some momentum, but a lot of ground to make up, trailing Lamar at the half by a score of 42-7. Couple of INTs to get the drive at the end. Unfortunately, a little bit too late. Lamar, just as I mentioned, relentless, and they cut your throats early in this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that's a highlight reel for them, and unfortunately, certainly not for us. But we just didn't help one another. 3 and outs by the offense, giving up long yardage plays on defense. That's not going to help you to win.
I know it was an emotional scene in the locker room at halftime, trying to fire up your team. What do you think was the reaction from your club heading back out for the second half?
I feel they wanted to rally it up and get back into the thing, and so they didn't feel that it was an embarrassing situation. But again, we just seemed to be going against a buzzsaw that day that we couldn't stop.
How much of that do you attribute to Lamar's execution?
Oh, an awful lot. They played very well. I mean, they executed well. Offense, defense, both sides, they did a good job. Quarterback was throwing the ball, flipping the ball around, lots of completions. Running backs were running for long yardage. Defense was, putting a good handle on our own offense. We couldn't throw the football. We just were getting so much pressure that we really couldn't establish our passing game. And once we got all of a sudden in a very backward position, we're down 3, then 4 touchdowns, and we really needed to get something going. Our pass offense just couldn't do it, unfortunately, and that put us in those 3 and out situations, which just made the situation worse.
There is some talent out there on the field. We'll talk about Keenan Canty a little bit later, but Damon Bolt, names such as that, you feel like they can make big plays, and they have at certain points in this year. What does it take to get a consistent pass offense going week after week, quarter after quarter?
Well, to be consistent in any way, offensively, defensively, in your kicking game, you have to have a talent that across the board can support one another. And you can have 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 excellent football players manning the positions, but if you don't have the depth, that can run out of gas on you pretty quickly. And that certainly has been something that has been tough for us, is we just haven't been able to substitute to the degree I'd like to see at very many positions, if any. Running back, we got a little bit of depth there. We've got some good running backs, and we can roll people through. But, when you're fighting through a week where we had 6 offensive linemen ready to play at one point, that's awful tough on your team, and that's certainly a factor. Now that's still, when we're out there, we have to execute, we have to play well, and we have to be able to take games into the fourth quarter, and that's something we have been very remiss at doing.
Yeah, it all starts up front, offensively and defensively, and Fortunately, you don't have the horses. You don't have the horses. Guys getting healthier, hopefully. You got Ashton Dewey back, though he didn't look 100%. Rafe Plaisance, I think, wound up sitting out the fourth quarter with a bum knee. Hopefully, he'll be back at full strength this coming week. But again, guys going out left and right, it just becomes tough to maintain that consistency.
Yeah, we have horses. We just don't have enough right now in the stable, or in comparison to the people that we're playing right now. And that's certainly a factor that's going to have to be addressed here at Nichols, getting recruiting back to a stage where, you know, we're getting good players every year in thick classes of prospects.
All right, we're going to turn our attention to the second half. Unfortunately, Lamar got back on track on their first drive of the third quarter. Caleb Berry swings it out into the flat to Devin Brown. It's good for 18 yards to the Nichols 25. Brown with 4 receptions on the day for 40 yards. 4 plays later, Carl Harris scored from the 2 to make it 49-7. Harris ran for 116 yards on just 8 carries. Harris and Cade Harrington were on this day for Lamar what Michael Henry and Tobias Lofton were a week before for the Colonels. One Colonel really stood out in this one. Keenan Canty, the senior and transfer from Colorado, has come close to breaking off a few kick returns this year. On the only Lamar punt of the day, he takes it at the 17, slips through 2 Cardinals, finds a seam, and he's gone. 87 yards for the score. First punt return for a touchdown for Nichols since 2008 when Ladarius Webb ran one back against Stephen F. Austin. Canty, outstanding. But Lamar would strike right back. A 33-yard completion from Berry to Reggie Begelton set up this Cade Harrington 3-yard touchdown run on 2nd and goal. 56-14 Lamar at the end of 3 quarters. It seemed like Lamar always had an answer. Early 4th quarter, Lamar brings up backup QB Rex Dowson, and on his second attempt, he's picked off by Josh Singleton, his second interception of the day. Singleton almost finds the end zone this time. It's a 33-yard return to the Cardinals 5. Hard to imagine looking up at the scoreboard knowing that Nichols had 3 interceptions and a special teams touchdown. Bo Aber took over at quarterback for Nichols, short field, and on his first play, he finds Canty sprawled out at the front pylon. Canty's second touchdown of the game, Aber's 3rd TD pass of the year. It's now a 56-21 affair, but this one would end like it started. Big play from Lamar to 48-yard run to pay dirt by quarterback Robert Mitchell. A school record 691 yards of offense for the Cardinals as they cruise to a 63-21 victory. And Coach Axman, I've never seen a college game 3 interceptions, a special teams touchdown, and that final score was hard to imagine seeing what you guys did in certain aspects of the game. Just a puzzling, I would say.
I would say it's extremely puzzling, but that's the puzzle we've got to put together this week and get ourselves ready for Houston Baptist.
But we can't forget Keenan Canty, the bright spot of the contest. He had 297 all-purpose yards, a bunch of good kick returns as well, and had the receiving touchdown. Good to see him coming around now. A slow start to the year, but really getting involved now in all facets.
Yeah, he's really showing up, and he's a fine player. And I think, you know, it was a matter of him, you know, being able to fit into the system and really understand the system. But he's really turning it on now, and he certainly was the one of the bright spots in the game the other day. So we're looking forward to him to continue being a fine player.
I think special teams was a whole lot better in just about every aspect this past Saturday.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Coach Chuck's doing a great job with special teams. He really is very intense and intent in coaching them, and their play has been certainly a bright spot for us in many of the games we've played so far this year.
We're going to look ahead to what's coming up this Saturday. Nichols visiting Houston Baptist. We'll take a look at the Huskies when we come back here on Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional.
In sports, you strive for first or best. The Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional is both. The region's first comprehensive sports medicine program with a team of the best sports medicine trained experts. You're serious about the game, we're serious about your safety. With advanced concussion testing technology and certified athletic trainers, we're keeping athletes safely in the game. Play hard, play to win. The Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional will help you play it safe.
Donnie, I'm in Rouse's at least 3 times a week, and I want the best prices every day.
Come on, Chef. Let's go shopping.
All right. There's got to be at least 1,000 items just on this one aisle.
At Rouse's, we stock more groceries than anyone else.
I can see that. So what's with the tag? Best price every day.
It's the Rouse's guarantee. You're getting our lowest price every day.
So when I see this tag,
You know you don't have to wait for a sale.
I can shop any day.
And get our best price every day. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not.
Well, we're all about the people that we care for.
At People's Health, we know that when it comes to health, what works is teamwork. Each People's Health Plan member has a team of talented professionals working together to coordinate care so our members can do what they love to do.
That's what we do. We're here for you with People's Health.
People's Health, your Medicare health team.
Welcoming you back to Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. I'm Mike Wagenheim. He's the interim head coach of the Colonel Football Program. Steve Axman. Coach, you visit Houston Baptist this Saturday coming up here, and a chance to get this thing going in the right direction again.
Well, we need a win, that's for sure, and our kids they're hungry for a win, and so this is going to be an awfully important game for us, road game. Got about a 5-hour trip to Houston, but you know, the kids, they've been resilient this year, so I'm just hoping they'll be equally resilient come this week in practice and as we get ready for this game on Saturday.
I think both teams hungry for a win right now. HBU in their debut year as a member of the South, and this is their first official season in program history. They were defeated at home by Stephen F. Austin on Saturday. They sit at 1-6 right now, 0-4 in league play. Their lone win this year came at Texas College. And Coach, while they're a first-year program officially, they did play what's called a developmental year last year.
Right.
They played 7 games, not official. They don't go in the records, but they helped those freshmen and get them a year's worth of experience without accounting toward their 4 years of eligibility. So not truly a first-year program.
Yeah, that's correct. You know, they got quite a bit of experience last year playing the 7-8 game schedule that they had, and it didn't count against their eligibility. So in essence, they had a good group of kids who played as redshirt freshmen, where you normally, as a redshirt freshman, you're just sitting out, you're the scout squad player. In this case, they were playing in the games, and it did not count against their eligibility, so they still have 4 years to play. And you know, when a program's starting up like that, that's certainly a nice bonus or procedure to have, to be able to get those kids gain experience as redshirt freshmen and still have those 4 years to play.
What's the game plan going up here against the Huskies?
Well, we've got to put together a game where we're playing well on offense, defense, and in the kicking game. We need to be sound in all three. We don't have to be great, but we have to be sound in all three, and then at least one of the facets of the game has to take over and be the leader, whether it's the offense or the defense or special teams. I think, you know, defense, we just have to be stouter. We have to make sure we're not giving up so many big plays. Offensively, we've got to provide some time for our quarterbacks so we can get the passing game going.
All right, we got you covered this Saturday. Nichols hits the road to take on Houston Baptist. We start the day on the Colonel Sports Radio Network, presented by your local Super Chevy dealers with the Colonel pregame pass on KNSU 91.5 FM. That begins at 4:30. Then at 5:30, it's Colonel Weekly on Fox Sports Radio, KJIN AM 1490 in Houma. We'll also carry the game live. At 6:30, it's the Colonel Countdown throughout our network of stations, including our flagship, ESPN Radio New Orleans 100.3 FM. Kickoff is slated for 7 o'clock. The game will air live on ESPN3 a half hour after the contest. Tune in again to KNSU for extended post-game coverage on the Colonel Roundup. Now, we knew we were heading into a year, this thing wasn't going to be a cakewalk, but the Colonel program has been in this situation before, and better times have followed, and that was the message at a team affair last week. Jansen Verdon has more.
Facing one of the most difficult schedules in the nation, the Colonels knew this season would be a 12-week gauntlet. They would have to fight for every second of every snap from the first whistle of practice on Monday to the last whistle of the game on Saturday. And despite mounting adversity, they continue to push on. Already this season, the Colonels have lost their head coach and a mounting number of teammates to injuries while dropping their first 8 games. With all of this weighing on the players, some of the coaches decided to slow things down a little and spend some quality time together as a team. So after practice last Thursday, the Colonels gathered for a family cookout.
This is more something I'd like to do as a coach, as a head coach, each year, and just kind of take a break from the hard work, all the hard work put into a season, somewhere around the middle or slightly after that in the season, just to get together, relax, and enjoy our friendship.
The team was joined by former Colonels Shane Kleber and Brian Pyle, who arrived at Nicholls during a dark period in its football history and helped pull the team together in 2005 to win the conference championship. The two spoke to the players before their meal, offering words of wisdom and support.
We basically wanted to come out here and just let them know, tell them a little bit about what we went through and how we were able to overcome it in our minds and you know, encourage them because they can too. And that's kind of all we wanted to come out here and encourage them to do.
You know, just trying to tell them, hey, you know, we've got y'all back and we're out here every Saturday and we're cheering y'all on and the kids are here and your family's out there and, you know, you got your family names on the line and when you're out there, you're representing yourselves, you're representing your team, but you're also representing guys that came before you, you know, guys that did it, have been in your shoes and walked the walk and just had to go through some of that adversity. And those are the type of things that carry you throughout your life. If you can face that adversity and come out successful, I think that's the accomplishment.
Their words had not fallen on deaf ears, as several players said they were inspired by Pyle and Kleber's testimonies.
Them guys really gave some insight to how it was back then and like how much Nicholls has really came from when they played. And I always appreciate, you know, older wisdom and advice. You know, they told us how they started off kind of rough too, but, you know, they ended up coming together and finishing out strong. And I feel like we could have the same opportunity to do that here.
I'm thankful that there's people still out there, you know, that are standing behind us and everything. And it really means a lot and shows a lot. And, I mean, I took some good advice from this.
As the Colonels head into Week 9, they carry with them the unyielding support of their family and friends, and, of course, the Nicholls Nation. For Colonel Football Weekly, I'm Jansen Verdant.
Thank you very much, Jansen. We appreciate it. We got to take a quick time out. We'll be back with more here on Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional in just a moment. Welcoming you back to Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional, here with the interim head coach of the Colonel football team, Steve Axman. You're running the gauntlet here through the Southland Conference. This will be the Colonel's fifth game in league play so far. What do you make of the league in this your first go-around?
Well, it is a very strong league. It's always been a very strong league. It's a heavy conference in that there's so many top-heavy teams, you know, from start till way deep in the middle of the schedule. Run-oriented, powerful, strong. This is good football. There's a lot of good football players come out of this conference, and you see that with all the people that are drafted into the NFL.
Yeah, 3 ranked teams right now in the top 25. Let's take a look at what transpired around the circuit on Saturday. A battle of Southland unbeatens. 8th-ranked Southeastern Louisiana moved into the driver's seat, pulling away from Central Arkansas late for the win in Hammond. Northwestern State rallied from 14 points down and forced a pair of fumbles in the final 4 minutes in upsetting Sam Houston State in Natchitoches. Despite turning the ball over 6 times, 11th-ranked McNeese State downed Abilene Christian in Lake Charles, and after a 2-hour electrical delay, Stephen F. Austin bested Houston Baptist. Folks, you can find out more about the Colonel football program and all 14 of our sports online on our social media sites. Find us at Instagram.com/ColonelSports. We're at YouTube.com/NicholsAthletics, Facebook.com/GoColonels, and Twitter.com/GoColonels. We'll take our final timeout, come back and wrap things up on the other side here on Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional.
In sports, you strive for first or best. The Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional is both. The region's first comprehensive sports medicine program with a team of the best sports medicine trained experts. You're serious about the game, we're serious about your safety. With advanced concussion testing technology and certified athletic trainers, we're keeping athletes safely in the game. Play hard, play to win. The Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional will help you play it safe.
Donnie, I'm in Rouse's at least 3 times a week, and I want the best prices every day.
Come on, Chef. Let's go shopping.
All right. There's got to be at least 1,000 items just on this one aisle.
At Rouse's, we stock more groceries than anyone else.
I can see that. So what's with the tag? Best price every day.
It's the Rouse's guarantee. You're getting our lowest price every day.
So when I see this tag,
you know you don't have to wait for a sale.
I can shop any day
and get our best price every day. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not.
Well, we're all about the people that we care for.
At People's Health, we know that when it comes to health, what works is teamwork. Each People's Health Plan member has a team of talented professionals working together to coordinate care so our members can do what they love to do.
That's what we do. We're here for you with People's Health.
People's Health, your Medicare health team.
Back here with you, closing out Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. Time to announce our Rouse's Student Athlete of the Week. Rouse's, the official grocer of Nichols Athletics. You're either local or you're not. This week, it's senior wide receiver and return specialist Keenan Canty. He was also named the Southland Conference, Louisiana Sports Writers Association, and Sports Network FCS National Special Teams Player of the Week after returning a punt 87 yards for a score and racking up 203 kick return yards on top of it. Congratulations to Keenan. Here with interim head coach Steve Axman, about 45 seconds left, Coach. We head to Houston Baptist this week. Both teams starving for a victory, and this is a chance for the Colonels to head into the final stretch of the year on a positive note.
No doubt about it. This is a very, very important game for us, and yet we're playing a team that is probably as hungry as we are. They're a good football team in the sense that they're very, very young. Playing a lot of young players, but they don't play young. They're very well coached. They're very physical, very intense, fly around. So we're going to have a challenge. There's no doubt about it.
Looking forward to it, Coach. We'll talk to you on the radio on Saturday. He is the interim head coach of the Colonels, Steve Axman. I'm Mike Wagenheim. Colonels and Huskies from Houston, 7 o'clock on Saturday. We'll talk to you here again next week. Colonel Football Weekly has been presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional, the official sports medicine provider of Nichols Athletics. This show has also been sponsored by Rouse's Supermarkets, you're either local or you're not, and People's Health, your Medicare health team. This has been a presentation of the Colonel Sports Network.